So the Mexican Grand Prix was yet another triumph for Red Bull. The team have just been absolutely dominant this season, with them taking victory in 16 out of 20 races so far, and winning the Drivers' and Constructors' titles by a comfortable margin. But while things are going well now, Max Verstappen has spoken out against plans F1 has for the future. And on top of that, there's been more news about what's happening with the second Haas seat next year. But before we begin, if you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more Formula 1 content, and you can follow me on Twitter at James_Formula1, and there'll be a link in the description. So we all know the Mick Schumacher situation. He's out of contract at the end of this year and has been fighting to keep his seat, with team boss Gunther Steiner having previously said it's 50-50 as to whether Mick stays next season. Now Nico Hülkenberg has been tipped to replace the German, with Steiner having said that he's been in talks with the former F1 driver. Now Hülkenberg is currently Aston Martin's reserve driver, but it was recently announced that Stoffel Van Dorn will be taking up a test and reserve role with the team next season, and if you want to find out more, I'll leave a link to a video in the description. So what does that mean for Hülkenberg? Well, in what will be bad news for Schumacher, he recently dropped hints about the optimistic progress of potential contract talks. He told Service TV, "At the end of the day, it's not my decision, I'm not making it. There are still talks, I'm relatively optimistic, but we will have to be patient a little longer." So it looks like things are progressing, and in a new update on Schumacher, Steiner was quoted by RTL as saying, "For me, it's no longer about one race, one lap. For me, it's about what's best for the Haas team in the medium to long term." It's not like they said that if Mick scores points now, he has the place or not. So for me, it looks like a decision for the seat alongside Kevin Magnussen in 2023 is getting closer, and I do think at this stage it will be Hülkenberg filling it. And if that's the case, we won't be seeing Mick on the grid next year. But if that does turn out to be the case, it's likely we'll see him return, with him having been linked with Audi ahead of their 2026 entry. So the reason Verstappen's unhappy is because of new rules going forwards. Tyre blankets are set to be banned in 2024, with the phasing out of the warmers taking place gradually. For example, teams last year were permitted to a maximum temperature of 100 degrees Celsius for the tyre warmers, and this came down to 70 degrees for 2022, and in 2023, this is due to fall to 50 degrees before the ban comes in. As a result of this, a tyre test was undertaken in Austin, with teams running to the 50-degree setting, and Verstappen said it was not enjoyable, and was quoted by Racing News 365 as saying, "I drove on 50 degrees I think it was, and I almost spun in the pit lane already. Of course I also had the hardest compound, but I think there's a lot more to it. If we have the tyre blankets anyway, why don't we just use them to the fullest because they're there?" On top of this, Verstappen feels that racing with colder tyres could cause chaos. He said, "I think we're going to have a lot of crashes. That I know already compared to what we have at the moment. But it's tough. Also your tyre degradation is going to be completely different because your tyres are very cold. You're sliding around a lot in the first few laps. Your tyre pressures are going through the roof, so your tyres are going to degrade a lot more." Now Verstappen isn't the only one to point this out, with Magnussen having been quoted as saying there's a safety concern. Lando Norris added that no driver wants hit, saying that the tyres weren't good in the best possible warm conditions they were tested in. He said, "Imagine going to a much colder racetrack, or if it's a little bit damp or something, everyone's going to shunt the car at some point." Now there was another tyre test in Mexico, with Pirelli reverting to 70 degrees, and it looks like following drivers' concerns, a U-turn on next year's rules is being made. Pirelli Motorsport Director Mario Isola told the race, "After listening to the drivers, we started to consider that if Austin is a high-severity circuit with very good weather conditions and they had an issue with warm-up, what happens at street circuits, low-severity circuits with smooth tarmac, or in poor conditions? The target is to ban blankets for 2024 and the idea was to go in this direction step by step. The plan is still in place, but looking at the test in Austin, it seems that 50 degrees is not a suitable option for next year." But guys, that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.